This is not a place people visited. This is a place people vanished into. For centuries, the Ozarks were home to native people, the Osage, Quapaw, and others, who shaped the land with fire, trails, and seasonal hunting grounds. They understood where rivers swelled, which ridges held the best nuts and berries, and which valleys were safest to camp. Their footpaths became the backbone of frontier travel, later widened by settlers' wagons, but the land itself still carried the memory of their presence. By the early 1800s, settlers arrived, wagons creaking, rifles slung, eyes wide with hope and fear. To enter the Ozarks was to step into a world that demanded ingenuity, patience, and intimate knowledge of the land. Every ridge, every bend in a creek, every rustle in the underbrush could be the difference between safety and catastrophe. From this elevated vantage, the Ozark Plateau stretches endlessly. These are not mountains, but ridges stacked one after another, blanketed in oak, hickory, walnut, and pine. Valleys carved by streams hide homesteads from view. Morning fog curls along creeks like smoke, masking paths and riverbanks. Smoke rises from distant chimneys, carrying the sweet, resinous scent of burning pine, mixed with the tang of salted meat. Birds trill overhead, but certain calls, like the sharp kee-yer of a red-tailed hawk, warn of predators nearby, while a sudden plop in the water might signal a deer or a bear approaching. Follow the White River as it winds through the hills. In the 1800s, this river was the Ozarks' lifeline. Flatboats drifted downstream with corn, salted meat, timber, and whiskey, while upstream travel required poling or towing along treacherous banks. Many boats never returned. Along the river bends, small landings appeared, temporary settlements of cabins, docks, and taverns. Trade here was constant, dangerous, and full of nuance. A sudden fog or a snapping branch could halt work for hours, while settlers listened for the hoot of an owl that signaled nightfall approaching. One river settlement clusters at a bend. The general store offers salt, iron tools, coffee, and cloth. The tavern provides warmth, gossip, and sometimes a brawl. Cabins are thick-walled, chinked with clay and moss to endure the cold. Dirt paths wind between structures. Here, the lamplight is faint and smoky, carrying a subtle odor of burning tallow, wood, and herbs used for cooking or medicine, a smell that both comforts and reminds the inhabitants of their isolation. Move into the hills, where homesteads stand far apart. A single cabin occupies a clearing. Corn and beans cling to slopes. Hogs and cattle roam free. Life is dictated by seasons: spring planting, summer heat and biting flies, autumn harvest and meat smoking, winter's biting cold and hunger. The air carries the smell of damp earth, smoke, and wood resin. Each night, the forests come alive. The distant howl of wolves, the slap of a beaver tail on the creek, or the low growl of a bear signal danger, while the chirp of crickets or rustle of deer indicates normalcy. Inside the cabin, every object has a purpose. The fireplace dominates one wall. A rifle leans ready. Iron cookware hangs blackened by soot. Clothing is patched endlessly. Every task, cooking, mending, fetching water, is calibrated for survival. Picture a winter night. Snow presses against the walls. Wind rattles the roof. A mother mends garments by flickering lamplight, the faint scent of tallow smoke clinging to the air. Children sleep beneath quilts sewn from scraps. Wolves howl in the distance, while deer move silently through the nearby brush. Every creak carries meaning. There is no doctor, no neighbor. Whatever happens tonight must be faced alone. The trails between homesteads are narrow and treacherous. Horses stumble. Wagons break. Illness or injury can turn travel into life or death stakes. Winter storms make rivers impassable. Summer floods choke lowland paths with mud. These trails connect settlers to towns, but also reinforce the forest's dominance, reminding travelers that the land is alive and unpredictable. Now we arrive at a small courthouse town, the region's anchor of law and order. A modest wooden courthouse stands at the center. Land claims are read, crimes judged, marriages registered. On court days, visitors flood in from miles away. Horses stamp, voices overlap, merchants display goods. By nightfall, the town quiets, leaving only the flicker of lanterns and wind through empty streets. Faith fills the void left by scarce law and scattered neighbors. Brush arbor meetings gather settlers at the edge of town. Rough benches face a pulpit beneath open sky. Camp meetings last days. Hymns echo through the trees. People weep, shout, and pray. Strangers become family, bound together by song, firelight, and shared endurance. As night falls, the Ozarks reclaim themselves. Fireflies drift over creek banks. Lanterns glow faintly in cabins. Dogs settle on dirt floors. Stories are told of neighbors who vanished, strange lights in the forest, or predators stalking silently. Folklore takes root here, spreading as wild and unpredictable as the hills themselves. Wildlife surrounds settlers constantly. Deer graze, bears roam valleys, rivers teem with fish, birds fill the air. The land is generous but merciless. Every day requires vigilance, every night demands attention. The forest whispers lessons for those who listen. This was the Ozarks in the 1800s. Not a place built for spectacle, but for survival, cunning, and resilience. A frontier that shaped those who endured, and erased those who did not. We may never have grand paintings of these hills, no cityscapes, no stone monuments. Yet through the forests, rivers, and cabins, we can step back 2 centuries and feel life here, its beauty, its dangers, and the skills it required. So tell us in the comments, which forgotten frontier should we explore next? And if you want to experience more lost worlds like this, make sure to subscribe.